The psychology of flow. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's flow theory and the creative process. Think about the last time you completely lost track of time. Not because you were bored or zoning out, but because you were so locked into something that the rest of the world just disappeared. Hours felt like minutes. You weren't thinking about what was for dinner or your inbox or what people think of you. You were just there, fully absorbed, operating at the edge of your ability. That feeling has a name. And according to Mihai, it's not just a nice bonus that happens sometimes when you're working. It's the psychological engine at the heart of all creative work. He calls it flow, and understanding it might change how you think about what it actually means to do your best work. The discovery. Csikszentmihalyi started studying flow, not by looking at creativity, but by looking at enjoyment. He noticed something strange, that activities that most reliably made people feel alive and engaged weren't the comfortable ones. They weren't relaxing on a beach or watching TV. They were rock climbers, chess players, surgeons, dancers, composers, people doing things that were difficult, demanding, sometimes physically painful, things that required total concentration and offered no guarantee of success. Why? He interviewed hundreds of them across different countries, cultures, and ages. And they all described the same experience using strikingly similar language. An almost automatic, effortless feeling state of deep concentration, complete absorption, the sense of being exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. When he asked people to describe their best creative experience, the most common answer wasn't, "When I had a great idea," or "when I finished something important." It was designing or discovering something new. Dancers, climbers, scientists, all pointing at the same thing, the joy of discovery itself. He called this flow because so many people described it as the feeling of being carried forward by a current, of things moving naturally without resistance. Why we are wired for it. Here's something Mihai points out that doesn't get talked about enough. We might be evolutionarily programmed to enjoy creative discovery. If you were designing a species to survive in an unpredictable world, you'd want it to be basically conservative, learn what works, repeat it, save energy. But you'd also want a few individuals who got a kick out of novelty itself. Not because the new thing is immediately useful, but because it's new. Because no one can predict what challenges are coming next. And a species that only repeats the past is one innovation away from extinction. So the best design would wire some individuals to feel genuine pleasure every time they discover something new, regardless of whether it's useful right now. And that's apparently what happened with us. Some people have nervous systems where novelty and discovery light up the pleasure centers directly. And those people, Mihai found, tend to be the ones who do the most creative work. Not because they're trying harder, but because the process itself is rewarding enough to keep going through all the difficulty. The 9 elements of flow. Mihai identified 9 elements that come up over and over in people's descriptions. You don't need all 9 to experience flow, But the more of them that are present, the deeper the state. 1. Clear goals. In everyday life, demands contradict each other, and our purpose is often fuzzy. In flow, you always know exactly what needs to happen next. The musician knows which note comes next. The rock climber knows which hold to reach for. That clarity is part of what makes flow possible. 2. Immediate feedback. You know right away how you're doing. The musician hears whether the note landed. The climber knows if the move worked. They're still on the wall. This constant loop of action and response keeps attention locked in. 3. The challenge-skill balance. This is the core mechanism. Flow happens in the sweet spot between two failure modes. Too easy and you get bored. Too hard and you get anxious. The best experiences keep you right on that edge, challenged enough that you have to stretch, skilled enough that you're not drowning. Think about playing any competitive game against someone at exactly your level. That's the zone. 4. Action and awareness merge. In normal life, your mind wanders constantly. In flow, that split disappears. Concentration is so complete that doing and thinking become the same thing. 5. Distractions drop away. You're only aware of what's relevant right now. Worry and rumination, which cause a lot of everyday suffering, simply don't fit in the space flow occupies. 6. No fear of failure. Not because you're overconfident, but because you're so focused on what needs to happen that there's no room for question. Failure doesn't come up. You're just doing. 7. Self-consciousness disappears. In normal life, there's always a background track running. How am I coming across? In flow, that voice goes quiet. And interestingly, people often come out of flow with a stronger sense of self, as if the temporary dissolution of ego somehow rebuilt it. The self expands through acts of self-forgetfulness. 8. Time distorts. Hours compress into what feels like minutes, or the reverse. A single second stretches. Either way, clock time and experience time stop matching up. 9. The activity becomes autotelic. Autotelic comes from the Greek. It means an end in itself. When an activity becomes autotelic, you're not doing it for what it leads to. You're doing it for the experience of doing it. The reward is built in, and this, Mihai says, is the secret to a good life. Learning to get flow from as many things as you have to do as possible. When work becomes autotelic, it stops feeling like work. The 5 stages of the creative process. Now here's where flow connects to the actual creative process. These stages were first mapped by Graham Wallace in 1926. Preparation, incubation, illumination, verification. And Mihai draws on that tradition with some refinements. Understanding flow tells you why each stage has the structure it does. Stage 1, preparation. You immerse yourself in a problem. You absorb the domain, the history, the techniques, the existing solutions, the dead ends. This is where you build the raw material that everything else runs on. It can feel like you're not being creative yet, but you're loading up. Stage 2, Incubation. You stop consciously working on the problem, and something interesting happens. Your mind keeps going without you. Ideas that couldn't connect under the pressure of rational, linear thinking start finding each other in the dark. Unusual combinations form. This is the stage most people undervalue, because nothing visible is happening, but it's doing something essential, a kind of parallel processing, running multiple associations simultaneously. Not in a straight line, but in all directions at once. Stage 3, insight, the aha moment, when the subconscious connection is strong enough. It pops through into awareness, like a cork held underwater, breaking the surface. One of Mihai's respondents, inventor Frank Offner, described it. It will hit me maybe in the middle of the night. It turns around somehow inside your brain. I remember I was taking a shower when I saw how to solve the problem. But Mihai is careful to point out Darwin never had one single aha. The theory of evolution accumulated over years in disconnected flashes that slowly found each other. He calls it a thunderous aha built up over a lifetime, made up of a chorus of little eurekas. Most real breakthroughs are more like Darwin than Archimedes. Stage 4, evaluation. This is the hardest one emotionally. You have an insight. Now it's time to decide if it's actually good. Maximum self-doubt. Is this really new? Is it worth pursuing? Something you've internalized about your field rushes in to scrutinize the idea. Most ideas don't survive it. That's the filter working correctly. Stage 5, elaboration, where 99% of the actual work happens. Edison's line, 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Drafts, revisions, experiments that don't work, refinements, but the creative process is not linear. Elaboration is constantly interrupted by new incubation, new insights, new problems that need solving. The people who sustain this over months or years are the ones who have learned to find flow in the work itself. Not in the outcome, in the process. Flow and happiness. Here's something counterintuitive. When you're in flow, you're not feeling happy. Happiness is actually a distraction from flow. A poet in the middle of writing isn't feeling happy. Happiness would put them out of it. What they feel is complete absorption. The happiness comes after, the surge of satisfaction when the poem is done. In the long run, the more flow you experience, the happier you tend to be overall. But it's because flow produces something. Growth, accomplishment, mastery. It adds complexity to your life. Mihai's 91 respondents were almost unanimous. They did it because it was fun. Not fun in the passive entertainment sense, but fun in the deeper sense of feeling fully alive and engaged. Jacob Rabinow, you never invent for the hell of it. Naqib Mahfouz, I love my work more than I love what it produces. The practical part, the most important lever, is the challenge-skill balance. If you want more flow, keep adjusting this ratio intentionally. If you're bored, the work is too easy. Raise the stakes. Set harder targets. Work under more constraints. Find a harder version of the problem. If you're anxious, the gap between challenge and skill is too wide. Break the problem into smaller pieces or invest in building the underlying skills before tackling the full challenge. The sweet spot is always moving as your skills grow. What used to produce flow becomes boring. You have to keep raising the bar. What produced flow last year won't produce it this year. And finally, intrinsic motivation is the engine. If you can find a version of your work, what you do even if nobody was watching, even if it didn't pay, even if nobody cared, that's the version most likely to produce flow, and therefore most likely to produce something genuinely creative. Flow is what deep creative work feels like from the inside. And the creative process, from preparation through incubation, insight, evaluation, and all the long work of elaboration, is what it looks like from the outside. The people who change things aren't necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They're the ones who figured out how to find flow in the work itself, who made the process the reward. That's available to anyone. It doesn't require a Nobel Prize or a record deal. It just requires finding the edge of what you can do and staying there.